Hello, everyone. This is the Fight Forever podcast, and I would like to introduce ourselves here. You got Seth. I am Seth. You got Dylan, and you got Chris. This is a new channel on YouTube, and you can follow us on Twitter at the Fight Forever. I'm going to start with introductions to all of us since we are brand new to the wrestling community, the IWC. So I'm going to start with you, Dylan. So, what is your favorite? Who is your favorite current wrestler?
My favorite current wrestler is John Moxley,
Okay, why is that?
and because he's a badass and he was one of the first ones on the AEW show to make the crossover. So
There you go. I like that. Okay, Dylan, what got you into wrestling, buddy?
So when I was really young, my dad would have me watch wrestling, and I'd watch wrestling with him. So, and then from there on, it just became an obsession, and now I watch it every week.
Nice. I like that. I like to say though, so we do usually throw parties for a Wednesday night for AEW. I've Dylan come over to my place. Chris sometimes comes to my place also. But every pay-per-view for AEW, we usually get together. Some on the WWE. I would also like to reiterate that with everyone that we aren't biased towards AEW. We might seem like it, but I promise you, it's mostly for wrestling in whole. We are more AEW fans than WWE fans at the moment. But we will show support to like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, depending on the card and depending on everything with WWE. We'll talk about them a lot too. It's just in case you hear anything like that sounds super negative, I promise you, it's our own opinions. We speak it. Deal with it in the comment section, please. It's it's not a huge deal, but that's awesome, Dylan. No, I'm glad to hear that. What was your opinion on Forbidden Door, though? AEW's recent, pay-per-view, New Japan.
Well, I thought it was a great show. All the matches were pretty much bangers, like pretty good, and
Nice. I like to hear that. Now, what do you think your favorite match from Forbidden Door? Like, what was it?
the favorite match of mine was the Fatal 4 All Atlantic Championship match.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty nice one. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed that one personally.
Yeah.
That's up there, like my top forever. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, before we get into Forbidden Door, guys, I want to continue introductions, of course. Chris, this is Chris here. Chris, who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Of all time or currently?
All time. I'm gonna do all time for you.
That is, for me, that is a no-brainer. That will be Big Van Vader. May he rest in peace.
Hey, why Vader, huh?
Because he's there's only a select few that I can think of other than like Bam Bam Bigelow or Yokozuna or maybe even Brock Lesnar in his younger days that could move like that. He can do flips. He can take it to the crowd. He was an actual intimidating force in the ring. He's the only guy I know that purposely broke Mick Foley's nose in the ring. And it's just when you were watching him, you couldn't help but be scared for the other guy and like, how are they going to beat this guy? And every time he was beaten, it was only through sheer luck or shenanigans. Very rarely was he ever truly soundly beaten. And it was an inspiration for me because I've always been a larger guy in life. So if he could do it, then there's no reason why I couldn't do it if I ever chose to pursue that pathway.
I like that. I'm kind of in the similar boat with Chris here. I'm a bigger guy as well. I always love when I see people like Vader or Big Man Bigelow. I mean, ECW back then, taking crazy bumps and high flying. That's what I want to do, knowing I'm probably never going to be a wrestler. Let's be honest here. None of us probably will. That's why we're here doing media stuff. Let's be honest. That's awesome, though. And Chris, let me ask you again, though. Here, who's your favorite current wrestler, no matter what company they are?
Favorite current wrestlers, right? It's two of them actually, and they won me over just completely with on Sunday, and that would be Cash and Dax with the FTR.
Cash and Dax. Okay, I like that. I like that. They were probably, in my opinion, the best tag team currently
Oh
in
no,
the world.
Oh,
they
100%.
they
100%.
prove that this weekend, and if there's anybody better out there, it's just that we haven't seen them yet.
Right? Exactly. We haven't seen them yet. No, I fully agree. So Chris, what got you into wrestling, huh?
Just when I was 13, I was just channel surfing and I saw the Undertaker on TV because it was on Raw and they were doing a SmackDown recap. I saw the Undertaker and I thought, wait a minute, how do I know this guy? So I just watched and for some reason I just kept it on the channel and that was that. Like it kept coming back every week, and
That's awesome.
it's been I want to say next year will be 20 years. So yeah, I don't regret that decision whatsoever.
Great. That's awesome. I'll get some more questions flowing to both of these guys, but I'll introduce myself too. My name is Seth. I'm probably going to be the host of this show. I follow us on Twitter. I'm going to be the main guy responding, commenting on a lot of stuff. But I'll start with some questions to myself here. Got written down. My favorite current wrestler in any company I can choose right now has to be Malachi Black of the House of Black faction in AEW. Uh, I've loved Aleister Black in WWE and NXT. His NXT run was absolute spectacular. Let's be honest here. Champion. Was he two-time NXT champion or just one?
Just
I
the
think
one.
he's just one.
Just the one. Let's be honest though. His NXT run, what should have been his WWE main roster run. Let's be honest. That's what it should
Yeah.
have been.
100%.
I love though. When unfortunately he did lose his job in WWE, and it sucks to lose a job. Don't get me wrong. But with AEW on the uprise back then, I believe it was 2020. He when he got released, and I remember texting the group chat we all have, and I was just like, man, this dude's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted him to go to AEW specifically because he has that creative freedom like the indies give him, but it's like televised to a lot more people than like 40 people in the gym. So him creating House of Black was honestly awesome because I love Buddy Matthews and Brody King. I introduced Dylan here to Brody King, and he's a heavier set guy too. He's about 6'4", 6'5", like 300.
he's
He's a little
huge.
less. Like he's a huge man who can, high fly. That's the best.
Yeah.
My favorite wrestler of all time, and I every time I say this, it's very biased because it's what I grew up on, but it's gonna have to be John Cena. I'm talking about Ruthless Aggression version. And I started watching wrestling in 2004, 2005. My dad was flipping channels and came wrestling. And he turned it on. I think went away. I was just I'm 5 years old. What the hell am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, oh, this is awesome. I saw John Cena come out, and I swear I remember this match so vividly. It was Shelton Benjamin with his mama and John Cena. I'm like, what the hell? What is going on? And they're just fighting. This is awesome. And like as I matured up growing up, as I matured, it's just like you realize it's like in WWE is a huge hero and villain type thing. So if you're a kid who's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you're like, oh, I want the hero to win. Which
Yeah.
was John Cena. So like when you see people like the Radar Superstar Edge, who when he had his huge feud with John Cena back then, I'm telling you, if I was there 8, 9, 10 years old, I would have been absolutely hoping Edge never did anything. Like I hope the worst for that man back then. I was like, no, John Cena's winning this. Like Nate, nobody's gonna win. You know. But as you get older, you learn to appreciate heels and faces a lot more, and you also expand outside of kayfabe. As you get deeper into the internet, which becomes more popular every day as you speak. Um, no, it's awesome. Like honestly, I grew up a wrestling fan. I'm 23 years old. Dylan 26, right? And
Yep.
Chris is 31. So almost
Turn 32.
I'm 32, right? You're in I think next week, right?
Yep.
Yep, nice. But we all been fans a super long time. So a lot of people sit here and watch wrestling for 3 years and think they know what they're talking about. I promise you, that's not true. You have to be watching I would say a decade at least to understand some stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to learn. I had to learn the ropes through magazine articles, and my biggest thing growing up was Pro Wrestling Illustrated. If you
Oh,
Yeah.
know what that is, then I say kudos to you. You know the old school ways, but uh, back then that was the only way for me to learn. And the thing I liked about it is that they told the truth. They didn't. Like one of the best examples I could think of is when Randy Orton disappeared for half a month back in '06, and they came out with the whole reason is that Kurt Angle broke his ankle in an ankle lock, and I thought,
Oh
oh
yeah.
no, that's not good. But then 2 weeks later, the new issue of PWI came out, and I was combing through, and it said that Randy Orton was out because he had failed a drug test, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking, well, who's right here? But
what the
then I
hell?
looked, but then I started reading it more, and throughout every issue I kept reading, I just kept thinking, you know, and it's just like I kept seeing it on TV. It's like, wow, these guys are telling the truth. So that's how I learned about kayfabe injuries and everything through there. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I do appreciate growing up is I learned to read honest journalism at least in one article. But
Right,
Mhm.
right. I fully agree. When you guys, please give us a follow on Twitter. I can't say it enough because we're new and we want to grow big. And I know the internet wrestling culture is very toxic in ways, but I promise you, we like to not be that toxic group. We're very positive and we may shit on a company, but it's not going to be, as in a personal level. It's just more of that's us what we don't like.
Yeah.
You
we
know.
call it how we see it. That's how I would like to say it. We
Exactly.
call it as we see it. Like if the product is good, then we will shout from the rooftops how good it is. But if it's not, then it's like I'm not going to sit here and defend a product that I cannot just I can't sit there and finish halfway through.
Oh,
Right.
exactly. Oh, I'm the same boat. I mean, it's crazy because, like I said, as we do this more often and possibly come out with weekly content eventually, we're going to shit on a lot of WWE, but we're also going to shit on a lot of AEW. There's a lot of things I know what's wrong with AEW, but, it may not seem like that half the time to a lot of people, but that's not true. We're going to shit on both companies. We're going to shit on every company. Let's be honest. No, there's not one company that's going to let go from us. We
Yeah.
speak our own opinions. Everyone has to know that. But we're going to be the very rare group, this very rare group of people that's going to be super honest and like, you may not like our opinion, but I'm willing to argue it. I'm not going to sit there and make it super personal against one another. I'm still willing to shake your hand afterwards. That's
Yeah.
how I am. That's how we are. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, let's get this show on the road. The introductions are over. If you guys need anything else to add, Dylan or Chris, feel free. I'll let you guys say something. You guys wanna?
I have one talking point. It's super short, and for people who know, they'll just be like, oh, I understand. Quick talking point. What is like your most dis? What is like the one thing about their whole wrestling community, whether it be a company or whatever, that you wish you could change in some way?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. That is a tough one.
I don't know. I mean, as AEW gets bigger, I personally think if I could change anything, honestly, I love the creative freedom they do. I
Yeah.
really, really do. But there are certain times and certain points to where I think AEW might need a writer or two. And it's not for everybody. It's just for the green guys. That's the thing about AEW people don't understand. You have people like Dante Martin, Hook, all these people who are like not haven't even reached. I think was it 23. Like
Yeah.
I'm 23. They haven't reached my age yet, and I'm
Yeah.
young. Like if like when I see Dante Martin go out there and go after the world champion and get absolute, he got
Squash.
shit on squash. Like everyone, I see people on Twitter are like, "Oh, this guy's he's done. His career's out the window." I'm like, man, this guy's not even his rookie year yet. You kidding me? That man, he can go sit there and live. He can go main event everything, and he's still not going to be near his prime or like
Yeah.
end of his rookie status.
Right.
You
Like
know?
he's not even in his third year yet, so the sky is the limit.
Oh, exactly. And we all agree on this too. I don't think you're in your prime until you're in your 30s, even
Yeah.
35. Start of it.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I
what
mean?
Cody Rhodes said. So
Oh yeah, and I fully agree with him. And
yeah.
he's
Oh yeah.
smart. But yeah, no. Let's get started here. Forbidden Door. I mean, that's what the whole episode's about, right? Our first episode is a Forbidden Door review. Uh,
Yep.
we'll sit here. We'll talk about more than the pay per view, of course, guys. We're going to talk about the lead up to the show, what we could have done better, and honestly, what was really good from the build up to the show and what's good on the show. But I think I'm going to start with honestly 3 weeks prior to the show starting. That Wednesday night. This show was built up really, really fast, and it happened right after a big pay-per-view too, which is Double or Nothing, which is one of their top 2, in my opinion, pay-per-views of the year. So it's really hard to follow a really good show.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think this show maybe should have been in like July, so it gives them a little more time.
Mhm.
Because if I remember correctly, a lot of the feuding and a lot of the run-ins and a lot of the feuds didn't really start happening until like a week or 2 prior to the show. The
Right.
Gulf show had like 3 or 4 matches got announced, which is awesome, but they just started that feud, so they had no build to that match.
Yeah.
And it was very frustrating to see that because I'm like, dude, you couldn't have had. I'm all for long-term storytelling, but I'm also all for really good a really good singles match between, for example, we could put Malachi Black and Pentagon together as that example, right? Put them two together, they can have a really good feud that can last 3 weeks. Like, you give them 3 weeks of TV time of 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a 5-10 minute match also. They're going to put on the best feud of that one feud for that pay-per-view in a 3 build. These guys in Japan.
Hands down.
Oh, right. See, that's what I'm saying. In Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling, that company is one of those dominant companies in the world. It's top 3 with WWE, AEW, in Japan. That's what it is. And I hate to say it, but it's true. It's a fact. And having that is so awesome. But I think should have been way, way, way more build to this whole card.
100%.
Especially when you have a blockbuster match for the main event, such as Tanahashi and Moxley. That is something that you just can't build in 3 weeks or less. Like, because the thing I feel like right now is that this is like the first time that Tanahashi's been over here to the States in I don't know how long. So a lot of the people can say that they know him, and if they do, cool. But it's only through video clips and everything, and we don't get the same press that they do over there, so we don't know everything about them that like say we would know, like hear about Chris Jericho or John Cena or Roman Reigns and stuff like that. So for us to invite him over here and just be like, here, do what you can with them. And there's also a language barrier too. As far as I know, there's only a few of them that can speak English. So it's awkward to try and establish a feud when you are trying to understand what they're saying. So it was like with Moxley and Tanahashi again. It was just, other than just winning the interim championship, what was the reason for them to fight? And because you saw that look in Moxley's eyes, and after their tag match, that it's like he had that fire in his eyes, but Tanahashi had just had that look in his eyes like just another day at the office. So for me, that kind of fizzled it down a little bit. So, but they did deliver. They did deliver in the end, which good for them. I'm happy they did. But I felt like it could have been a lot more because let's be honest. This is just until Punk gets back, and then they're going to have a undisputed match. So they could have built more into that, because right now it just doesn't feel like it's Moxley's true second reign. It just feels like what he is. He's just holding it until Punk gets back.
Right. And one thing to add about that, Moxley felt like he had fought like most of the Japanese legends, and Tanahashi was one of the last ones he felt like he had to prove something to. So.
Oh yeah, and sure, and we'll get into that main event here shortly and talk about it. Don't get me wrong. So we all sat down at Dylan's place and we all watched it. I thought it was a good show, and I wanted to know you guys' opinions on this. I want to rate the show a 1 to 10. Okay, and we talked about it there, but I want to say it here. That show could have been way better when it was. Let's be honest. It was not bad, but it wasn't 10 out of 10. That show, in my opinion, was more likely a 7.5. And I'm being generous if I say 8. Let's be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I do hate the fact that AEW is known for this. And Chris knows this just as well. They're known for hyping something up so damn much, and they don't deliver that much type thing. Like I remember when this show got announced, when me and Dylan were over here.
We were so hyped.
Me and him were jumping. Like, dude,
We
this
were
is awesome. And then I got 2 weeks worth of build to the whole pay per view for 4 hours for a 4 hour show. I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There were matches on that card that were spectacular, but there could have been a lot.
WrestleMania, they had 3 WrestleMania quality matches on there with no build.
Right.
Right.
And and that's what AEW shoots for. The AEW shoots for every pay per view to be a WrestleMania, which is awesome. I love that. Don't get me wrong. But there, you got to add. You have what usually 3 months before a pay per view, right? In the year, 3.5 months. And you have so much time to build story. I think for that show, you can have done a lot more. Even prior to Double or Nothing, you can have started building. I would have started building beginning of May, having invasions and having people get run in on. Like, have something built to Forbidden Door, not start right after that pay per view and be like, it wasn't even after that pay per view really. It was like that Dynamite after Double or Nothing was really just like, okay, here's the main event, and here's like the co-main event. No, the co-main event was announced. It was like a main event, and another match. It's like, okay, that's cool. And then 2 weeks prior to the show, a couple more matches. 3 weeks, and then 1 week prior, it was there's like 7 matches right there. It's added out of the blue. So I was like, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. The talent on that card was phenomenal, and the people they versed phenomenal. Would I have changed people and injury? With injuries and everything was really hard. I mean, obviously we wanted to saw Kenny Omega, Okada, Jay White. That would have been amazing. But it was real hard to get that too. And you know what I'm gonna do? Let's get started on the card. Like, honestly, let's go. Let's run it down. I think honestly we can skip the buy-in. The buy-in's the buy-in, right?
Like,
it is what it is.
Yeah, we can skip the buy-in. It's not that deep. But I'll start top to bottom here. Now, this is in no particular order, of course. I just want to let everyone know that. So, if I like this match didn't go first, we're just gonna go in whatever order. So I am going to start with Chris Jericho, Suzuki, Guevara versus Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shada at 6-man tag. And I think that actually did kick off the show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And we'll go around here in a second and discuss, what our favorite parts of that match was and, what could have been better, let's be honest. I'll start. So that match, I think, was a good kickoff match. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a good kickoff match. Would I have chose something better to kick off the show? Yes. I think what could have kicked off the show, it could have been Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy, because that match was kind of a hidden gem and no one really knew what was going to happen. Yeah. So, you saw that would have been awesome. Now, also, I think the 6-man tag, the tag team champion, the IWGP tag team championship match also could have kicked it off, because that match was also good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think that should also kicked it off. But, we got this match, and it was better, way better than I expected. Suzuki, Guevara, Jericho as one team. That's like, holy shit.
Yeah, two of the biggest legends in either company.
Oh, yeah. And then, I mean, honestly, you can tell who's kind of when you got Jericho, the legend in America, let's be honest. One of them. Yeah. Suzuki was a deathmatch legend in Japan. Yep. And then you have Guevara, who's a young gun. Was he 28? Not even.
Yeah, not even.
And then I'm just now seeing this though. But you got Kingston, Kingston's a veteran, regardless of what you think of him. He's almost 40. He has 2 young studs with him, Wheeler Yuta and Shada. 2 young people who I think are not even 25, not even that. They have a lot to improve. And
they're youngins. So.
They're youngins. And as we saw in the show, what was nice was they went back to, I think it was 2019 New Japan, where Shada was in the crowd. I think it was 19 or 20 years old, and his dad's a referee in New Japan. And they showed that his dad got assaulted, and then Chris Jericho put a young version of Shada into the walls of Jericho, or whatever. I mean, that's good storytelling. But where the hell was that the previous Dynamite?
Right.
Where was that the previous Dynamite? I didn't know shit until that match.
Right.
Right. I did find it weird that they didn't bring that up until the match started.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean. And I also do want to do this too for each match. Or I'm gonna reiterate this is I'm gonna do a 1 to 10. Unless I'm gonna do 1 to 5 stars. Why not? It's all Dave Meltzer's rule, right?
Right.
Let's do a 1 to 5 star rule here, okay? So in our own opinions, we thought we can all agree on this. I'm assuming that match was a good start, but not one of the best matches I've seen.
two things that I thought, two things about it that I could have done without. I felt like it went on just a bit tad too long. They could have cut off like 5 minutes on it. Especially that one part where you had Suzuki just outside the ring, just staring at Kingston doing his submission, and he just slowly gets in there and just like stands there and just like does that, just like knock it off kick on him.
Yeah.
Like I don't get the, maybe that's something he does in Japan, but when I was watching it, I'm just thinking, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so let's go through this now. I'm going to start with Dylan, Chris, then me here. I'm going to go in that order. So, Dylan, what was honestly, probably I'm not going to sit there, but what's your favorite part of the match if you really can't remember it, unless we have it right in front of us. But
Right.
let's start with the star rating 1 to 5, and what do you think comes of this match? Let's start with you.
So star wise, I would probably give it a solid 3. Like kickoff, what comes of it? Well, we're getting blood and guts tonight, and Jericho's team got the 1-man advantage. So that's what's going to come of it. Not sure if anything will happen after tonight, but that's what I'm
I agree.
thinking.
Okay, I agree with that. What star rating did you give again?
3.
3. I honestly, I may agree with that later. I'm not gonna lie to you. Chris, what about you? Star rating? What comes of this match?
I'm gonna have to agree with Dylan. I give it a 3-star. It did its job. It got the crowd pumped up. It got everybody in the mood to watch a good show. Like I've already told you my gripes about the 2 gripes I had about it, so there's no need for that. But what comes of it? We'll just honestly, right now it's too early to tell. Like Dylan said, Blood and Guts is tonight, so we'll see what happens there. But as for just what comes other than that, because if Blood and Guts wasn't tonight, I feel like we could have a better opinion of what was coming after. But I don't see anything coming out of that match specifically. It's just other than building up Blood and Guts. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with the Chris too here. I'm going to be that one dude that this says a different star rating. I'm giving it a 2.5. I think that match was a good opener, but it could have been way better. There's a couple spots that were like, okay. The stuff I remember from that match was Shada getting a real big ovation for putting Jericho in the walls of Jericho.
Yeah.
Because I remember that built up to his dad and then him from 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Like
Right.
I think getting that was awesome, but like honestly, that's the only thing I remember right now. Like I don't remember anything else with that match besides maybe Suzuki being a super powerful person, Eddie Kingston. It was like,
and
he's getting
all the chops
Oh,
going
yeah.
around.
the chops, and then him getting knocked out. I mean,
Oh
that
yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. Now I'll kick it off with another here. Let's talk about Bullet Club versus the Dudes with Attitudes. Now that match was good. I don't know. I think that match was good. Honestly, knowing that we wanted, let's be honest, us 3 at least, in our own opinions, wanted Bullet Club America versus Bullet Club Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted Bullet Club versus Bullet Club in a Survivor Series type match elimination tag.
Yep.
That's what we all wanted, and that's what we were thinking we were going to get. And people might agree and disagree. Feel free to comment on that too. I'm willing to hear that. I want to hear everyone's opinions on this show. But that Bullet Club America versus Bullet Club New Japan, I think would have tore that damn house down.
It would have.
Because
Oh yeah.
that match, and I'm not
Depending
being
on who was
biased.
in it too.
Oh yeah, and I'm not being biased, but that match could have been a 5-star easily.
Oh yeah.
100%.
And we got that match of the Dudes with Attitudes, and I love Sting, Darby. But it could have been
Young Bucks, one of the greatest tag teams right now. But
right. And don't get me wrong, I think it was a decent match.
yeah,
Did it have its moments? I agree. Did it have moments where Papa Sting is getting lost in the ring? Sure did.
Oh, dude, I'll never forget that one spot where, who was in the ring with? But he does his like, Hulk up phase, and he just gets out of the ring, and you see Nick Jackson visibly yelling at in the ring.
Yeah, like that you know what? And that's another thing about AEW here. And we can discuss that in our next episode when we kick it off. And that's going to be what we agree and disagree with AEW and WWE. And we can talk about that in a whole nother episode, of course. That's going to take probably a half hour at least.
Right.
But I can say this one thing about AEW that really annoys the shit out of me. And I'm going to compare it to the tonight's Blood and Guts because it happened 1 year ago, whenever it was the last Blood and Guts. The damn camera angling they do is kind of ridiculous because they come out like WWE does that stupid multiple camera cuts. Like they do like 40 of them in 10 seconds, and I hate that. But like AEW does one long camera cut, and I love that. Don't get me wrong, but like when Sting exited that ring and went to the ground, and he even punched Nick Jackson or Matt, whoever it was, they just pointed like go in the ring and get him, And Sting's like okay, and then just got in the ring, and I'm like, you can't show that on camera. If that wasn't on camera, no one would have cared. But that's the thing that people bitch about this company. It does that. And I agree, but honestly, it's not the downfall of the company. This company ain't going nowhere for decades unless they really go bankrupt or something severe happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, they do that, and I know that's probably just like beginning because they're new to TV. Let's be honest, they're new. They don't know a lot of shit. But I hate that when I see that because like when we all saw that, where I was like, "What the hell was that?" He just pointed in the ring, and he walked back in. We're like, "What the hell?" And it was just crazy to me when I saw that. But I think the most memorable moment for that match was when Sting made his entrance because I think that's the only thing I remember. Because it was dope as hell. If I remember, he's in the rafters, and now he's like on the stage above them on that tunnel, and he jumped onto the Bullet Club. And I was like, that's the only thing I remember though from that match. I really don't remember anything else besides that and the botch.
60 years old and still jumping off stuff. That's
right.
Crazy.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, but that's both cool, but also kind of worrisome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it worries me every time I see him on the damn TV. Anyway, though, let's go here. Let's go here. So, Dylan, Chris, me, out of 5 stars, what do you give it?
I would probably give it the same rating I gave the other 6-man. The 3 out of 5.
Nice.
I would probably give it a 2 just because of it's like you said. There's other than two moments, it was forgettable. Like other than that, because you've got the Young Bucks. Because I feel like they're starting to build towards Bucks versus Darby and Sting in some way. This should have been like the trigger that they pulled on that, but they didn't. It just fell flat. So for me, I just give it 2.
2. Okay, now I'm gonna have to agree on both of your answers, but I'm gonna give it a 2.75. 2.75. So 2 3/4, whatever you like to say it is. I'm going to give it that. And honestly, I don't think it deserves a 3, but I also don't think it deserves a 2.5. I think it deserves a little better than 2.5, but it's definitely not a 3 in my opinion. Yeah. That match, in my opinion, was a time killer on that show. And you know what though? Like people say, injuries that killed that pay-per-view, and I have to agree with it. It really did because that match got reconstructed last minute because of the fever thing.
Fever,
yeah.
So I was like, shit, I gotta deal with that. But yeah. So let's kick off to another match. Let's get this one going. Here we got Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. We all agree on this. We all are not the biggest of woman match fans. We're not. We will watch a good women's match. Like when I get a hardcore match between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, I'll sit down and watch that any day. There are certain matches though that really do bore me, and I think AEW is actually doing this more than I think. And they're booking that women's like the main title, whatever it is. They're booking that on a pay-per-view in a weird time slot in the show where it's like a piss break.
Yeah.
Because I swear to God, every time they do a women's match, it's like, you know what? I gotta go have a drink or I gotta go take a piss. Yeah. And that's not even me being mean. That's just me like I swear they do that on purpose.
And we hate to say it like that, but that's just how they do it.
Right?
Yeah. So with that match, they did that match because they couldn't get anybody from Stardom, the other company, to visa their visas or whatever.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So they threw that match together because they didn't have anybody from Japan or anything coming in. So,
I agree, and I heard that Stardom thing was a legal issue or some shit.
Yeah,
or something on that line.
Yeah, that was just a whole mess.
And I hope next year is awesome, by the way, with that. And they get like everyone involved in Japan with AEW.
We might
That'd
have
be
to
nice.
get up at 4:00 in the morning, but
Yeah, we're in
if it's
Nebraska,
at
so man, we wake up Central
Tokyo
Time
Dome,
Zone.
so
4 a.m. baby. But okay, so that match I don't remember much from it. I don't know about you guys, I really don't. There's a couple cool spots, but anyway, let's get going with the show. We got a lot of matches to get through. So, Dylan's out of 5 stars, what is it?
Probably 2.
2. Okay. Chris.
1. I was dozing off during the match. I'm sorry. It's just I wasn't in this. I wasn't into it. I wasn't into the story. Tony Storm for me. I just can't see her as a wrestler right now. She hasn't really earned her stripes yet. I know she's trying, but I was just not invested in it. And instead of wasting time on my phone, I thought I'd just close my eyes for a little bit. And before I even knew it, I heard the bell again. I was like, oh, well, that was fast. So
It was a quick match. I think it was about roughly 10 to 12 minutes, something like that.
right, and there was no false finish, which for an AEW show is rare.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. For me, I'm going to give I'm just going to give the match a solid 3 because I'm in between it all. I think it was the only women's match on the show, so I give it that little extra, to it.
Yeah.
But I think it was solid 3. I don't remember much from the match, but I think it was a good women's match if you're into matches. I'm gonna be honest.
And I don't think it's building up to anything unless they turn one of them heel. But
me either.
So.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel like. Have you noticed that this Thunder Rosa is starting to get like the early Roman Reigns treatment, where they built her up, they gave her the title, but now people are just starting to turn their backs on her?
Yeah.
Yep.
I can see it. I can see them turning her heel like next couple months or so. So
yeah, because when she came, because I noticed when she came out, she was getting a lot of mixture. There was some cheers, but there was a lot of boos too.
Right.
Yeah, because there were things on the internet about her like sandbagging her opponents or not, like
true
doing their moves. Yeah.
See what comes of it.
Now let's do the next match, and we'll get the title matches going here. Okay, IWGP winner takes all 6-man tag. Now I'm going to start with this because all 3 of us agree with this. We rather have 3-way dances over 6-man tags with 2 people in the ring. That stresses me out. I've been saying this for the last 4 years of this company being a thing. I'm sick and tired of 2 people starting the ring and not 1 person from each team. WWE does it too, and I hate it. I was there for SmackDown in January, and they did, what was it, an 8-man tag, and 2 people started in the ring. And I'm like,
yeah,
what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It just frustrates me, and the ECW, they got that right, and I don't know why nobody takes it. I mean, I can't be the only one that thinks that.
Not even CCW or GCW do that, which astounds me.
I don't know if it's a safety thing or if it's like, oh, it's, of course the show's choreographed. We all know this, let's be honest. But like, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's more of like, oh, it's more harder to script 3 people in the same ring at the same time. And I do know that because wrestlers bitch about that a lot on the internet, where it's like, man, when I was in a battle royal, it's 9 people, and you know how much of a clusterfuck that is. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess so, but 3 people in a ring shouldn't be all of that too bad.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
How many triple threat matches do they do?
Exactly. It's a triple threat. That's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? Or fatal 4-way, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But this was a winner takes all match. It was the Ring of Honor, IWGP, and honestly, I think they made the right decision. Everyone knows this. Everyone wants FTR. Honestly, I think the biggest thing ever would probably be them winning all the titles here, because I think they hold the AAA, Ring of Honor, and they need the AEW one.
I'd see it all out. I'm calling it FTR champs.
Yeah.
I like to hear it. I do think though that they need to be champ of all those indie companies. Throw in a CCW one tag champ. Why not? PWG, throw it in there.
They need to go after the Impact tag titles.
Yeah, no, I love to see that too. Go after all the indie tags. I mean, make them hold it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 10-star FTR. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. But FTR, what they call it, United Empire, and we had
Roppongi
I'm gonna butcher. Yeah, Roppongi Vice. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Roppongi Vice or something like that.
Right. I I think honestly, okay, I'm gonna say again, they made the right decision on it all. What I remember from that match specifically was Dax. Right, it was the one that got scripted injured,
Yeah.
where he went back, got taped up, came back, made a huge. Because he said that in the post media scrum. Was
Yeah.
he made he was a for it was for a reaction and
It was
get
a
the crowd back.
storyline. Yeah, it was a story injury. Yeah.
Yeah, it was to get the crowd back into it. I'm like, oh, that's hype. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I loved it. I love Jeff Cobb. I love that man since Lucha Underground. I didn't know it was what's his face, Dylan.
Matanza.
Yeah, I didn't know it was him until I met Dylan. To be honest, he was like that. I'm like, that's not true at all. Yeah, get out of here. And it was. But I'm not a big fan of Great O'Con in a lot of ways. That man's out
Yeah.
here bragging about,
He reminds me of early Kali, just hulking, lumbering. He can't move just yet. He hasn't hit his stride.
Chris, you don't really see that out too often with what he does on his Instagram and Twitter. I know what just yesterday he bragged about. He said his titles got stolen from FTR, and then he went back to Japan and got laid by a porn star from Japan. Why are you bragging about that on your Instagram? He's like, oh, my titles got stolen, and then I went to Japan and did this. And I'm like, why?
If I could understand people these days, I feel like I would go insane.
Oh, it's unreal. But anyway, let's get to it. 1 to 5 stars, Dylan. What is it?
I would probably give it a 4.25.
4.25. Okay, why is that?
Because the match it had its moments, and then then the injury to Dax happened, and then it sort of slowed down for me a little bit, and then it picked back up, and then FTR won, so the better team won.
I think Dylan said it best there, Chris. What's your rating?
I give it a 4.5. Just like Dylan said, they started off strong, but then Dax had his kayfabe injury, so they had to slow it down with Great O'Con in the ring with United Empire, which really killed it for me because I was starting to get bored with it. Then he came back out, and it became a house of fire again. Then they kept doing the false finishes, and then finally FTR won it, and they finally proved to me that they're like the best tag team right now. So yeah, if it wasn't for that slow 7 minutes, then I would have probably given it a perfect 5 out of 5.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to have to agree for once, actually, with Chris. I think I gave it a solid 4.5. It wasn't near 5, but honestly, I don't think it was as low as a 4. And I think because it had the spots, it had the hard hitting, and had everything I really enjoyed in wrestling.
Yeah.
It had the false finishes. It had everyone hits a super kick or something. You know what I mean? It has one of those. But I think it deserved of a 4.5. It wasn't the best match I've seen, but it also wasn't near the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, let's do this next match here. We are all very excited to talk about because this man made his debut in AEW, the Zack Sabre Jr. versus Vacant Man. As we all know with this match, we are all going into it as in, who the hell is he going to face? There was a lot of thoughts on Claudio, which made his debut, of course. There's also a lot of thoughts on
Cross.
A lot of thoughts on who else? Who else was a thought here? Gargano. There's a lot of thoughts on a lot of people here who could have been a good choice. But Claudio, I think, is aka Cesaro, by the way, who people who don't know. But Claudio was probably the best fit for the BCC, the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, he fits it.
Oh, he fits it perfectly. And honestly, I'm in love with it. I'm excited to see him and Eddie Kingston one day go at it. Of course, I showed you guys those tweets. He doesn't have the balls to come here.
Whatsoever.
He doesn't have the balls to come here. And I'm excited though to see what he does in AEW.
Yeah.
And him debuting was very exciting to see because that crowd went absolute bonkers for him.
Right.
And
honestly, the only thing though is they kind of flubbed it up just a tad bit with the entrance because they played the music, but they didn't show anything until he himself, which they did that at the 2016 Rumble with AJ, and it's just like they kept the camera on Roman's face the whole time. How can I get excited when I'm staring at the crowd and I don't know who it is just yet?
I
Yeah.
agree.
And
Uh,
honestly, I would have been okay. I would have been totally okay with him going out there 5 minute like right away and beating Zack Sabre. Like it would have been the best. Like when he hit that finisher on him, I was like, oh, it's over.
And
But
honestly, I wish they could have done that because what does Zack Sabre have to lose? Nothing.
right,
He's not signed over here.
yep, not
This
staying.
for him this is a cross promotional match. It's not going to hurt him in any way. So if he could have done that to really build up Claudio, it would have been so amazing. But I understand giving the people like a 5-star match like he was supposed to have with Brian,
Yeah,
but when you have something like that, then I feel like you can improve on it in that way.
yeah,
I agree. I think honestly that match. I'm gonna get my star rating first here because I just want to say this. I'm giving that match. I kid you not, a 4 3/4. I'm not giving it a 5. People give
yeah,
it 5s. The thing about that match is I'm not the biggest submission man in the guy in the wrestling match in general, but there was a lot of submissions I saw that were really fucking unique.
yeah,
Like I like using like well I don't know if I can. I'm probably gonna butcher this. Like it was, I think it was a Boston Crab, and he grabbed his legs and locked his legs behind him, and then did some submission like that. And I'm like, what the hell did I just witness? Like these guys are so damn talented.
There was that one that looked like a combination of a figure four and sharpshooter.
mm,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys, like, they made submission. I'm not a submission guy, but they made me invested. That's why I was happy. I was like, wow, holy shit. You know, I mean, like
yeah,
that's makes me and Dylan are in the same boat. We don't like submission matches,
right.
you know.
Nope.
But like, dear God, you make me invested. That's crazy, like that submission match.
Yeah.
I'm 4 3/4 though. Dylan.
Yep. I would probably go 4.5, 4 and 3/4, same. So
Okay, Chris.
4.5. The two things I wish they could have done was he's supposed to be Brian's replacement, and he's officially a member of the Blackpool Club, right?
Yep.
So I really appreciate them giving him his singles entrance to establish himself. But afterward, I wish that they all had come out and congratulated him and welcomed him properly instead of just just staying hanging in the back. But because I still don't feel like he's part of the club yet. Like it's just like he's just there to be Brian's replacement. He doesn't feel like a full fledged.
right,
Yeah, he feels like a guy kind of like when MJF brought people in, like Big Cass. He feels like him right now to me. You know, it's just like I don't think I feel like I get a vibe he's not signed, but he's just here for here right now.
Yeah.
And I think after a
right.
couple weeks we'll see him more. And I don't know
Yeah,
where he's gonna fit.
yeah. Me
I don't
either.
know I don't know if he's gonna be main title. I honestly think, and honestly, I saw this everywhere on the internet, but I
Mhm.
think honestly he might go to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I saw he was supposed to debut at their pay per
Oh,
view end
okay.
of July. So I could see them doing that,
Oh
making
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
him champion.
I would be all
So
for it.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, me too.
Put him as Joe for the TV title. I'm in, dude.
Oof.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll kick it off with another match here. I believe we got 3 more or 4 more left. We got the All Atlantic Championship. Did I say
I'm
that
gonna
correct?
love hearing about this one.
Did I say that correct? Hopefully I did. All Atlantic,
All
right?
Atlantic. Yep.
So we have Malachi Black versus Pac versus Miro versus Clark Connors from New Japan. Uh, I'm gonna start off. Malachi Black's one of my favorite wrestlers. I love this man in the ring. Uh, this match was a certified banger in a lot of ways. Clark
If it was
Connors,
triple threat.
yes, Clark Connors though, what I was about to say was he
Yeah.
made me a fan of him, kinda.
Yeah.
That man did shit that I didn't know he can do.
Yeah, we knew nothing about him going into this match, honestly.
Yeah, nothing
Right.
about. He was Ishii's replacement last minute, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And all I see is this man come banger of a move. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm not gonna be biased with my rating at all when I rate this, but like, there was a lot of stuff here that I saw that was nice. Malachi Black reversing good shit. You have Pac, who was hitting a lot of good smooth moves with Pac. Miro, who's a big, hefty man in the match, who was doing, he was taking beatings, but he was also able to, do his own moves. This match had, I think, quite a bit of false finishes.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. But this match, though, in my opinion, I'll say my star rating again first. This match, in my opinion, will get 4 stars and 3/4. It is not to the 5-star potential because there were some moments that were but this match was a certified I'm fucking invested. I want another one now. That's what this match was.
Give me Pac and Black in a singles match for the title. 100%.
Did it have the right winner? Did it have the right winner? I am 100% okay with Pac winning. I wanted him or Malachi. Miro, I want him in the TNT picture.
Yeah. The
or the main
TNT
event.
title has not been the same since he lost it.
100%. And Connors obviously was not. I honestly, when I knew this too, he was going to take the pin no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, we all knew this.
Yep.
He was winning shit.
You can't pin Black and have him,
because he's on a winning streak, and they're probably gonna do something with that.
Yeah. Exactly. So now he can go to Pac and be like, "Okay, you did not pin me," and whatever.
I was that close to dead to rights on you. So where's my title shot?
Yeah.
Right. So I gave my rating. Dylan, what's yours?
Oh man, mine. I would have to agree with you. That was probably a 3. That was my best match of the night. So I have to give it a 4 3/4.
Yeah. Okay. Good. 4 3/4. Okay. Chris.
I give it a 4 because, like you said, there's a lot of false finishes, and you'll learn later on that that's one of my biggest pet peeves. But for what it was, I love the action. I love the constant. You don't know what's going to happen next. Like Clark Connors was really winning me over. I wanted to see what he could do more. I wanted to see where it was going. The drama was intense and everything. And yeah, I do feel like Pac should have won. So they made the choice.
Nice. Okay.
And I definitely do see a huge Pac versus Black feud coming out of this.
Oh, 100%. I can see. I'm not tired of their feud at all. Well, I am kind of getting to the point where I do want to see Black versus other people. I'm getting to the point where I do want to see Black, probably versus Miro would be nice. Right. I do want to see Black versus Dante Martin, Black versus whoever else. I was like, Pac, I was so excited when this got announced. Like him in general to Death Triangle. I'm excited, but they need to start introducing that damn trios title before it's 100%. Too late.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's annoying.
Matthews and Brody King. I'm telling you, they're gonna go for the titles here soon.
I agree. No, I agree.
And I hope they do.
Julia as their manager. It's gonna be.
But let's kick it off with another match here. We're gonna. I think we got 2 matches left, right? Or no, 3. Excuse me.
3.
We're gonna do.
I think we got 2.
Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. This match was a sleeper on the card. We've been saying this since they announced it. We got Orange Cassidy, who is a dude that is a guy who, known as Pockets on the internet. People give him, shit. But you got, Will Ospreay, who honestly is in my top 5 of all time. I never watched a single match until he came to AEW. Oh, no, I take that back. I did watch a couple, but we're never full highlights. But I will say, though, this man is really, really talented. And Orange Cassidy was a guy who was like, I'm not going to lie, this pairing's weird. We were excited, but it was weird. I'm telling you right now, my dream match, him and Malachi Black, let's be honest. This didn't do 5-star that match, 6-star easily. 7-star, shout out to FTR.
Right.
But, I think that match, though, was super good. Chris can talk about his moments here, as I know he's got a lot to say. But I'm going to admit, though, that this match was a sleeper on the card, underappreciated. These two killed it. Show them respect. But Dylan, we'll start with you here. What's your thoughts and rating?
Well, my thoughts are at first, so it had its slow moments towards the middle of the match. Yep. It was really slow. It was probably the last 10 minutes or so. It was probably 5 stars for me.
Okay.
So with the middle of the match being slow and then the last 10 being fast, I'd probably give it a 4.75.
Okay. I can agree. Okay. 4 3/4. I don't mind that. Chris, this man's gonna have a lot to say here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it.
4 3/4 myself.
Okay.
The only gripe I have about this match is that they tried to build a current New Japan feud into this with Juice Robinson holding the title but Ospreay is the champion, and it's like I couldn't follow it because it's like I'm more interested in them, not this. You could have held off on that one, but other than that, I love this match. It was my favorite match of the night. Like you said, I didn't think anything of it going into it because I know Orange Cassidy's repertoire. It's just he's the slow guy that plays to the crowd a lot, and I feel like he does everything that he feels like he should instead of that he wants to do. Tonight he said screw that, and he went all out for that match against a guy like Will Ospreay, who's over in Japan at least, he's a proven commodity and everything. He really wowed me, and after this, I was a true Orange Cassidy fan. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of that attitude out of him, other than just going out there and just doing his usual shtick. I hope that this goes into a lot more, more aggressive personality for him that he desperately needs in order to, go places. Because, yeah, just I can't say anything more. I can't say anything more about that. But my favorite match of the night, just yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to give this match 5 stars. This match deserves it. This match had too many false finishes for my liking, but it's two, honestly, people who deserve it. They deserve that 5 stars. Like, you just gave it to them. They had the submissions I wasn't a fan of, but that's what made it the match to 5 stars. They had something that I wasn't a fan of, but what a lot of investors like. So I'm like, okay. And a mixture of a lot of things. But running low on time here. It's okay, though. We have 2 more matches. I'm going to do the co-main event, main event. It's the last 2 here. We got the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
Jay White versus Hangman versus Okada versus Adam Cole, baby. Now, what you're going to learn over time also on this podcast is Chris is a mega fan of Okada, but there is no bias here. I'm kidding. You can be biased, Chris. Yeah, okay. I'm going to start with this one with my rating, in my opinion. This match had so much damn potential, and it fell so fucking flat at the end.
Oh,
Adam Cole, I hope he recovers fast because
Yes.
that
Shout out to Adam
injury.
Cole. Hope he recovers fast and
Oh yeah, our prayers are. We're sending prayers to him.
heal up, and
Yeah, we're sending prayers
get
to him
healthy.
because that was a brutal injury. I know he has. I think he tore something or
Concussion. I heard concussion.
Oh, concussion. Okay, yeah. Well, I knew it was a botch finish. We all knew it. We all knew it,
Yep.
but they made it work, which
Yep.
was nice. And I think
Yeah.
Adam Cole was taking a pin there, no matter what, But they had to hurry it up and do that. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna say that I love, for my first time seeing Okada, who is compared to John Cena of New Japan. I am a big fan. That man is gonna make my probably top 5 the more I see him. But I will say that match, sadly, was not 5 stars, and I'm gonna give it a 4.5. The reason is because that ending, that last 5 minutes was very weird.
Yeah.
It was very what the hell type thing. We got to think of something. So
Yep.
here, I'm gonna hit you with this move, and then here, hit me with this move. Why
Right.
Adam Cole lays in a corner, the last, I think, was it 2 minutes of that match was legit Adam Cole unconscious in a corner, waiting to get pinned, and then Jay White hits his drift away, right? No, he calls it the switchblade. Hits the switchblade on Okada, and then drags Adam Cole's lifeless body over and just pins him. And Adam Cole, I feel
he tried to kick out.
Yeah, he tried to kick
out, but
he tried to kick out, and I don't feel bad for him.
It was also that elbow drop from Okada that I think that really just
that's what did it.
I think that might have done
it because he landed on Cole. He tried to but he jumped too far or he was too close. Either one.
No, yeah, no.
and he landed on
Adam
it.
Cole though, like he tried his hardest to kick out, but when you can't even lift your arm up, you're just stay down, bud. Like at that point,
Yeah.
I wish him a speedy recovery though. But
Yep.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Sadly, could have been 5 if there wasn't the botch.
Yeah.
Dylan,
I agree. 4.5.
okay,
I give it a
excuse me, Chris.
yeah. I gave it a 4. Like you said, this match could have been like this match could have been a main event of WrestleMania if they had they done it right. Um, but it is what it is. Like I said, if Adam Cole wasn't injured and everything, I wouldn't be as nice about it. But it's like I wish he gets better. I understand that they had to work with that, and I'm glad they ended it when they did before it got any worse.
Mhm.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, just I hope they can do it again. I hope that sometime they can have a redo of it and do it properly. But we'll just see what happens.
Right.
Perfect. Main event time, boys. John Moxley versus Tanahashi. I butchered that. Tanahashi. Excuse me. Sorry, buddy. I don't know where I got Ashley from, but butchered it. My bad. I'm about to get canceled. Uh, uh, let's do this. Okay, John Moxley versus Tanahashi. Uh, for the AEW Interim Championship. It should have been Punk and Okada. Let's be honest. And injuries killed that main event. But
Yep.
I'm gonna say, and I'll start again with my rating. In my opinion, is this match was good, but it was on a 3.5 hour to 4 hour mark of the show, where I was so damn tired. And I think if I was there, I would have liked it better because I'm more hyped. But sitting at home on a couch, it was just like, okay, let's see what happens. Oh, that's a cool spot. But then you add submissions. I'm not a submission guy. But there's a lot of stuff I saw that was like, okay. And then he got it. And then the weird thing to me was we're just kind of pointing stupid shit out, was the blade when John Moxley bladed. It
With
was
the
a sling
blade,
A sling blade. Yeah, a move of a sling blade, and then he
I
goes
feel
outside
like-
of blades. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Like I told you when it happened, I feel like they were supposed to collide heads, and that's what was
Yeah.
supposed to do it.
And then I heard Moxley also had a little bit of a concussion at the end
Yep.
there.
Heard
So
that too.
You could tell because when he was in that corner and he had that glossy look in his eye.
Yep, I agree.
yeah.
I'm gonna give my rating though, and we'll go to you three here and wrap up the show here shortly, guys. I'm gonna give this rating a 4-star flat. I think this match was good. Once I watched it back, it was good, but it was nowhere near a 5-star in my opinion. If this was 10 years ago, Tanahashi,
Yes.
I think
I
it would
agree.
have been 5.
I agree.
Or, I think I personally I have to say it's sadly going to be 4 for me.
Yeah.
Dylan?
4. Yeah. I mean, it was for the title, everything. Should have been Punk and Tanahashi, but I'm glad Moxley's champ. Hopefully he can run with it for a while. Him and Punk it all out would be awesome.
Yep. Chris?
I give it 2.5 because like I said before, there was barely any build up to it.
Damn.
You're crowning a new world champ. You're crowning a new world champion, and it was just there was nothing to it. It's just there was a strange bedfellows match where they teamed up together, but they didn't talk to each other. They didn't like that. It was just backstage interviews and stuff like that. Like you can't build a world title match on that. And also coming out of it, it's like to me it feels like you're crowning a paper champion because it doesn't mean anything. It's just they're holding it until Punk comes back, and and I feel like that's the truth because how many people are going to look back on this and say, "Wow, when did Moxley's second reign with it start?" Well, are they going to look back at this and everything? And because I remember him beating Jericho so much more than him beating Tanahashi. Because when he beat Jericho, it meant something. Here, it just has to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a forgettable match, and I feel like it's gonna lead to a forgettable title run for him, which is sad because he definitely deserves a true second reign. But I feel like this should not have been the way for him to do it. So, but for the match itself, it was good until they it just like I said, it was at the end of the mat. It was at the end of the show. Everybody had been drained. I was feeling it too. I wanted it to be over. So it's just like that was like the one match where I just didn't feel anything for. Even going into it, when the show started, I was like, okay, this is the one match I just don't care for because, like I said, there's nothing to it. So
Yeah.
I'll give it. So I give it 2.5 and hope something good come out of it.
Excuse me again. I think honestly, let's give a star rating 1 to 5 on the whole show here before we end our first Fight Forever podcast, ladies and gentlemen. But I think this show, in my opinion, didn't fall flat, but didn't exceed expectations. I think this show is going to get a solid 3 stars and 3 stars and 3/4. Uh, I think it's a solid rating to get for this show because I feel like this was nowhere near Double or Nothing. It did
Yeah.
not feel good as that. I hate to say it, and we'll talk about it in another stream of ours, of course, and we'll
Right.
get more in depth with a lot of that stuff that goes on. But I think it's a solid 3 stars and 3/4. Dylan,
I think it'll get a 4. There were quite a bit of good matches. There were ones that did fall flat. So I think it'll be 4.
I gave it a 4 as well. Like
okay.
the FTR match and the Osprey match really saved it for me because other than that, it just felt forgettable. It just felt like it was just there. It felt like it felt like a B pay per view, which honestly, for when they announced it and everything, it did because it's not one of their big four. But for what it was, they tried. I get it. They really did try. But other than those two matches, for me, it would have been forgettable.
Yeah.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Forever podcast. Unfortunately, we've been running for an hour. Not unfortunately, fortunately, we've been running for an hour and 6 minutes, and honestly, that flew by. I'm not gonna lie. I felt
It
like
did.
it's been 10 minutes.
It did feel good.
I'm gonna be honest. We are gonna do a lot more streams, ladies and gentlemen. I want everyone to give us a like, subscribe to the channel on our YouTube. Check us out on Twitter at the Fight Forever on Twitter. DM us, give us anything support wise. I mean, you can DM us and say, "Hey, love your stuff," or "Hey, I think you guys can improve on this in your streams." We're all looking forward. We're a brand new group that's heading into the IWC, and honestly, we do have a GoFundMe we'll be starting shortly from our fellow Chris here. But until then, though, I wish everyone here who's watching a blessed night. And I'm Seth. On the left of your screen is Dylan, and on the right side of the screen is Chris. And this is the Fight Forever podcast. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night.